Hello, everyone. Welcome to the next episode of Language Talks. We talk here to people or institutes focusing on languages, communication, and culture. We are in conversation today with the Director of ELTIS, Mr. Anupam Siddharth, and the Head of SIFIL, Asavari Tamhane. ELTIS and SIFIL are two premier institutes from Pune who have been training students across borders in various languages. They not only teach them languages, but also orient them towards the culture of various countries. They take a lot of effort by organizing events and seminars to give their students exposure to the language and the entire ecosystem. So let me tell you what ELTIS and SIFIL mean. ELTIS means English Language Teaching Institute of Symbiosis, and SIFIL means Symbiosis Institute of Foreign and Indian Languages. Mr. Anupam Siddharth and Asavari Tamhane are both language experts, and let us talk to them about their individual journeys and institutional journeys. Hello, Anupam sir and Asavari. Welcome to the show.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. So I would like to start by asking you about yourself. So I would like to start, with you, Mr. Anupam. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you started working in the language field?
Okay. So I studied language, and then I started working in media. Started with writing for a newspaper, and then I also worked with the broadcast media. I worked with Akashvani. I worked with Doordarshan, and it was during this period that I was being called in for classes at a newly formed communicative English department, which was attached to the English department. It was a new initiative at that point of time. And after some time, I started enjoying teaching more than I was enjoying writing. So I shifted teaching full time, and when I joined Symbiosis, I was initially with the media department, initially with the postgraduate media department for about 10 years, and then with the undergraduate media department for 10 years. I was heading the undergraduate media department, and during that phase, for 6 years in a row, the department was ranked as the best media department in the country by an AC Nielsen India Today survey. And then when pandemic struck, I was shifted to the languages division. It was experiencing some turbulence, so I was asked to come over here, and I jumped at the opportunity simply because I live next door. So I thought that maybe as one is not growing any younger, if I could save myself the traffic, which is getting worse over here. And it was almost like completing a circle. I started by studying and teaching language. So here I am.
So, Asavari, I would like to hear from you. I know you are a German language expert,
Yes.
but you're much more than that. So, please tell us about it.
Thank you so much, Lalita, for inviting us here today. So I started my language journey after completing my master's. I joined BITS International as a translator, and I was translating German, English, German for almost 2 years at BITS. Where one day it was a eureka time that I think I need to meet people and not just the computer. That's how I shifted to teaching, and which brought me to Symbiosis. So I've been with Symbiosis now for the past 21 years. I've been teaching, and I was taking care of the administrative tasks over here. In between, I was working as a part-timer. That was also the time I tried my hands trying to go back to the language industry after a brief discussion with Sandeep. So I was taking care of SITLOB. I was working at SITLOB as a secretary for the Center for Interpreting, Translation, Localization Businesses. And I was there for 3 years. And I've recently then now coming back to my roots. I'm here full time doing what I love the most, teaching as well as administrative tasks. That's all about.
That is true. I think both Anupam sir and Asavari, you're both following your passions. Isn't that
Yes.
a wonderful thing?
It is.
It is.
That's great. I would now like to ask you about the institutions that you work for, ELTIS and SIFIL. So, sir, the question is for you first. Can you tell us about the vision of this prestigious institute, ELTIS?
Okay, so I think before we start with ELTIS, we'll have to start with Symbiosis. So very briefly, so it's a very well-known story. Our founder and current chancellor, Dr. S.B. Mujumdar, he in the late 60s was experiencing a very disturbing trend. So while foreign students, and generally foreigners who came from the Americas or Europe, they felt very welcome. The foreigners who came from maybe Africa or Southeast Asia or West Asia, Central Asia, they did not feel so welcome and he was very disturbed, considering the fact that we are a culture that believes in Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam and Atiti Devo Bhava. So he tried to create a kind of an awareness by writing about it, and then he decided that maybe he himself should do something. So he was a professor of botany at that point of time in Ferguson College. And he set up a small information center there where the foreign students could come and they could be informed about places to stay, places where they can have a meal, to meet other members from their country, community who speaks that language, and some kind of a guidance as to what kind of educational programs are best suited for their requirements, for their needs, for their destinations. So this is how it started in 1971. And as they were interacting with these students, they realized that one of the biggest problems that these foreign students had was that they were struggling with the curriculum at the various educational institutions where they were pursuing any program, diploma or degree, because the medium of instruction was in English. And they, for at least those foreigners who came from a country which was not colonized by the Britishers, they were at a loss. So one of Dr. Mujumdar's friend, Professor Deshpande, he suggested that maybe we should set up. We should help them with this by making them learn English so that they can understand the lectures better, and only then the reason why they have traveled so far away from homes. And as you can understand, if somebody is coming for education in India and not going to US or Europe, they would also not be that well off. So which means that they would have made significant sacrifices to be here. So it would be that much more fruitful for them because their travel to India would then become successful. So in 72, the ELTIS, the English Language Teaching Institute of Symbiosis, was established. And so that was the vision with which it was established. But then as time went by, the institute threw open its portals for Indian students as well, because especially for children who come from smaller towns and villages, who obviously have been so who have seen the vagaries of life and in such desperation that their confidence level is at its lowest level. And even if they say, suppose they're at a job interview, and even if they know all the answers, just because the interlocutor is speaking English, they get tongue-tied. And though they know all the answers, because they're good students, they're hard workers, but just because of that lack of confidence, that fear that if I speak up, I may make a mistake, people will assess me unfairly or think less of me. I may not get the opportunity, I may not get the job, I may not get the admission, I may not get the promotion, I may not get the project, I may not get business. So this keeps them back. So then the institute also became a place to help these youngsters boost their employability and truly get the success that they deserved. And if language or communication or confidence was an impediment on their path to success, then our predecessors and we today, we are trying to remove these roadblocks for them. So this is the primary version. And today, of course, though it started for international students, but today we have more Indian students. So we get about 6 to 7,000 students in a year, out of which mostly they come for English, about 5,500. Then about 1,500 come for other foreign languages. But we also get about 100, 200 international students, but primarily from Africa, West Asia, and Southeast Asia.
Wow, that is great and that is huge. Thank you for sharing it with us, sir. I would like to extend the same question to you, Asavari. Can you
Because
tell us more about?
Yes. So, sir has actually given a very good view of both the institutes, I'll say. So, primarily, what I can say is that both the institutes are deeply connected to the motto of Symbiosis, which is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. And we are trying to bridge this gap of language barrier through language learning and communication skills that we keep on delivering to our students. So, basically, the institute was aiming at fostering global communications, creating the students into global citizens through language learning.
So these institutes have been existing since more than 2 decades, almost three, I think now. So how have they?
Yes, so SIFIL has been around for almost 20 years now, and ELTIS for more than 50 years. And I guess apart from reinventing the pedagogy, and because of the fact that we have kept abreast with the latest research, so every few years we see a paradigm shift in the way languages are taught, and we are very quickly adapting to those methods. So I think before I'd come in, the buzzword was CLIL, and then we have now shifted to task-based. So, this is also very interesting for us, because then we are on our toes, and there's something to look forward to, something to learn, something and keeps our minds active, and the challenges that come to us every now and then, which becomes a part of our daily conversations. So we keep coming up with new things, and sometimes they sound great on paper, and then the teacher goes into the class and then comes out and says, "Sorry, it just didn't work out." And then we again go back into kind of a brainstorming, and then we look at it, we see as to how we can use it in a more Indianized context, more relevant context to our clientele who are coming to us. So I guess this is how this has evolved, and must give the credit over here to our excellent, absolutely fantastic cohort of teachers. So I think that has been our strength, apart from the brand name, which is there, and people come to us for the brand name. But that's only half the story. Once they have come to us hearing about the brand name, we have to live up to that brand name. And I think we are blessed that every year we've had fantastic people who join us, and they work, as you very rightly said, is because it's their passion. So I think we have been practicing this for a long time, even before Ranchod Das Chachar
Yeah.
philosophized this in Three Idiots. So we have been actually running after expertise and excellence, and we love
Yeah.
what we do, and that's why it doesn't seem like work. So I guess if you look at the evolution of language teaching, um, we've lived through this. So I think that is how it has evolved, and we are all open uh, to do something new, which is why I think people keep coming back to us, and we don't promote. Uh, we 100% of our admissions happen through reference. So it's a sister who tells a younger brother, is the husband who gets the wife, is
We
the
have ex-students
uh,
coming back to us.
uncle who sends his nephew or niece, or friends, and village folk. So and that's because of this evolution, and we are abreast with whatever is the latest and the best in terms of language training in the world.
So I would like to add to this, this has been a very, very fulfilling journey. I remember when we started, I joined in 2004. So we were in a very small place with hardly 4, 5 classrooms where we used to struggle, carry our bags, go to some other campus. From those 4 classrooms, we are into a very beautiful campus of 22 classrooms with language labs. We have the best of the facilities. All our classrooms are technologically sound, so it's fun teaching with so many audio video aids and so much of technology evolving every day. We are also learning, growing. So in case of foreign languages, for instance, we started with French, German, and Spanish, and slowly we kept adding one language to the kitty almost every year. And we are still hoping to add more. So apart from European languages, we also have a few Asian languages. We are adding on the Indian languages to our kitty. So last year we conducted sessions for our school students where we taught them Bengali and Telugu and Gujarati. So yeah, we keep on experimenting, like Anupam sir said, and we keep failing, getting up, trying new things, getting success, and then feeling happy about it. That's how the institute has been evolving.
This is so amazing. You kept evolving and you're still evolving,
Yes.
and so much up to date, and people love it, isn't it?
Like they
So
say,
we are
change is the only constant.
Yeah.
absolutely, yes, sir. We are aware that SIFIL and even ELTIS, you conduct a lot of seminars, a lot of programs, a lot of events, so that people benefit from it. Those who are learning languages or those who are not, making them aware of this language field. So we would like to know more.
So now what we are doing is we have put together all our events to happen on Saturdays. Earlier they were spread throughout the week, and again, as I said, we keep experimenting with that, different days, different time. But for the past some time, we are doing these extracurricular, co-curricular activities on Saturdays. So we have classes from Monday to Fridays for the weekday batches, for the regular batches. And apart from the weekend batches, we have these activities on a Saturday. We call it a Super Saturday. And though it is standardized for ELTIS, and Asavari will tell you more about SIFIL, which is a little more eclectic. Also because she has a bouquet of flowers, and I'm talking about a single crop English, and she's talking about multiple. She's got many flowers in her garden. So, but I'm into like major cultivation, rice cultivation, so fields and paddy fields, lots of it. So it's broken into three parts. 11 to 1, we have a session which is varied. So sometime we can have a guest lecture. We can have a movie screening. We can have a game. We can relate it to, let's say, a media. So how to learn language from music, for example, how to learn it from social media posts, how to learn it from newspaper headlines. Or at times we invite people who will come and you know talk about how to ace your interview, uh, how to crack group discussion, how to we can have a workshop on CV writing. And because we have almost 60 departments in Symbiosis, we also try to invite people from other departments who would come and talk to them about their field. So our students could get to know about, say, financial literacy, legal awareness, uh, IT, digital literacy, among other things. And because these talks are in English, so they're also listening to a lot of English in everyday use, how it is used in workplace, in everyday situation. Then 2 to 4, we have a speakers club where every person is given a topic and they have to speak on it impromptu in front of so many people. And the teacher tries to correct. So this works 2 ways. So not only is the child improving upon, sorry, I shouldn't be saying child, young learner is improving upon her or his language, they're also boosting their confidence because they're speaking in front of so many people. And the Saturday events are mixed groups. So Monday to Friday, they may be attending classes in their own with their own batch, but Saturday is a mixed group. We could have an alumni from 20 years back who just walked in. We could have uh, a probable applicant who wants to check it out, uh, diploma program, certificate program, pre A1, B2 plus. So a lot of it's a mixed group. And then 3 to 4, 4 to 5, we have a question answer where they can ask anything, uh, which could be something related to the class that wasn't clear to them, or anything at all. So this is what happens at ELTIS. We twice a month it's offered online, first Saturday
Okay.
and third Sunday, and second and fourth. And if there is a fifth Saturday, it happens in an offline mode. And last Saturday, we have a movie screen.
Oh, okay. This is interesting and participative. I think that must be a lot of fun.
Yes, it is.
In case of SIFIL, we have different courses for languages. So French, German, Spanish, Japanese, Chinese, Korean are the regular languages. We have some foreign languages which we run as per demand. For example, Portuguese or Russian for that matter. All our courses are aligned with the CEFR or the international exams. So we train our students in case of European languages for A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, C2 as we know it. And in case of Japanese, is still N2, N1. So apart from the classroom teaching, there is also a lot of things that happen because language acquisition is just one part of language learning. The students need to know the culture, know the people, the do's and the don'ts, and we try to initiate these through activities. So the first activity that any student who will join CPIL for offline programs specifically will do is research. So there's a project display in place wherein they look for topics of their choice. It can vary from football to history to places in that country, and they go research, they do a presentation in front of their classes, and then it is outside on the campus for display. After which, once they start learning and owning up their vocabulary skills, food being an integral part of any culture and one of the mandatory things. The most popular activity at CPIL is the cookery competition, wherein they look for recipes, they find those ingredients, they make them and get them to the campus. The thing is, they have to write the recipe in English in their level A1, but they need to write the ingredients in that target language. So, it's kind of activity-based learning for them. And that's a good opportunity that we get where our French students, the Spanish students, all of them come together. So there's a team building thing that happens over there. So, the batch then comes closer until the last when they have this cultural treat where they perform small skits or songs in their target language. These are those regular activities which we have during our course. Apart from
Okay.
that, like Sir said, we also have Super Saturdays, wherein there are vocabulary games, there is communication. So there's like a language club where they speak, they watch movies. There are different topics and themes that we work on, ensuring that the students are not scared of the language. For example, we also have something called as Chai Pe Charcha. Chai Pe Charcha is basically for the students who have a lot of hesitation in asking queries during the classes because someone else
Okay.
would laugh at me. So the section heads are here in place. So they have a nice tuning with their students, and they let them know that, okay, this Saturday I'm going to be here from this time to this time. Anybody who wishes to get any doubts solved or needs to know any information about the country, the language, can just walk in and interact with them. So that is another thing that we have in place.
This
And
is
because our
amazing.
courses are all aligned to the CEFR,
Mhm.
automatically our students are well trained to appear for these international certification exams.
You
That
want
is
to tell them
fantastic.
about the study tour?
Oh, yes. Thank
Oh.
you. How did I skip it out? Every year around May, we organize study tours to France and Germany, and most of the parts of the Europe, and also to Japan, wherein our students then get a hands-on experience after learning the language. There's a teacher who accompanies them with for the study tours. So students basically, for example, we have an immediate one coming up with France and Germany, where students will travel in Germany, in Europe with the local transport. So they'll understand the local transportation system in Germany. They will stay with families. They'll understand life in Germany. We'll be visiting universities as well as offices wherein the students will understand the work and the study culture of the country. So that's something that is a yearly ritual, and we've been doing it for the past now almost 12 years.
Oh, that's great. I think that this is total immersion in the
Yeah,
language.
completely.
For the
And the
international
best part is,
students, we also celebrate the festivals.
yeah. And the best part is when they
Okay.
go to the supermarket, when they get to talk to the vendor there and buy stuff, and they are like, oh, I spoke to them in French, or I spoke to them in German, and that's the hooray moment for them, right from the airport till they come back, and that's something that as teachers we feel so proud of.
Right. You were saying something about festivals?
Yeah, so the other thing I forgot to mention was that for the international students, we also celebrate all the festivals so that because they'll be here for a year. So all the festivals that happen during their stay here, we tell them about them, or we take them to view, say, an immersion or a celebration, a worship, or a display of fireworks, or showing colors. And if possible, we also do a miniature thing over here, the institute as well. So, and they also travel. So just like our students, they travel to other lands, especially where that language is spoken. So the international students who have come here to learn English, so we also take them around to other parts of India uh, because they have come to India. They have come here to learn English, and they could have learned it anywhere, but because they have come here, so they, apart from the language, they must also take a bit of our country with them. The cuisine, of course, they have to try because they're living here, they have to eat. So, but we also tell them about it, and uh, tell them about, and everybody must leave with at least one Indian dress. So it's, yeah. So makes that journey learning that much more enjoyable through immersion.
Just to add on to something that I also forgot is now this is the first time we're doing it, but we've started doing this. That we'll be taking our students on field trips for in case of foreign languages. I'm sure you know about Rian. We all know about
Yes.
Rian, and very
Right.
soon our students who are doing A2, B1, B2, and C1 are going to be visiting Rian to see how they transform magic and how they convert all the Bollywood movies into with the AI tools. and how
Okay.
how does it translate. So that's the process that the students will soon be experiencing. So we keep on trying to give them the industry exposure here as well.
That's great in this field for a very long time. What shifts
Mhm.
have you observed in the attitudes of learners towards languages?
So
I think there was a time that English was more of an academic subject. It was a subject to be studied at school. It was something that you had to clear. Uh, it was a necessity. It was a necessary evil, especially if we were not good at it. And because we don't have the environment, because maybe people at our homes are not speaking that language, maybe the media that I'm consuming is in not in that language. So that environment is missing. Exactly the opposite of what happens when the child is learning the mother tongue, because the entire
mm,
environment, everybody around is speaking in the mother tongue, in that native language. All the media that the child consumes is in that native language. So uh, English was then an alien language. So I think at that point of time, it was just this one academic subject. So in fact, I don't know if you have seen this film called Dam Laga Ke Haisha. The protagonist in that film, played by Ayushmann Khurrana, he's scared of English as a subject. In fact, that's the reason why he hasn't cleared high school yet. And then
Right.
gets married to a girl who's highly educated, and then the clash starts between the husband and the wife. So I think from there, it has grown to be how English can be used in professional setting, in social setting, in travel, in uh, in maybe an enterprise. So somebody like you say you have a podcast. So somebody may want to have this, and if you want to reach to a wider audience, then your podcast needs to be in English. I want to set up a YouTube channel. I want to. So I think barely from an academic subject, it has. So that is the change in attitude. So people now are more interested in things like business English, workplace English. So the case studies that they and that is why we have tried to create case studies which now talk about how it is used in real situations, in situations where a transaction is happening, business is happening, and uh, I need to buy something, I need to sell something, I need to communicate something, I need to get something done. So I think this is one major change that I see. So that is why, even if you look at our admission data, we notice these spikes. So July, suddenly there's a spike. This is when a lot of children are possibly moving into the city
yeah.
from smaller towns, Mofussil centers for a higher education. And then we see a spike around Jan, which is possibly because they are in the final year of their college and they now know that they'll be appearing for job interviews, and they better spruce up their communication and their grooming and etiquette and presentability and confidence. So I think
Right.
that's a shift I see.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a very big change, we can say, from academia to
And
industry, including academic, not
so,
excluding
yeah,
it.
very true. In case of CFIL, I see a significant change in the walk-ins that happen.
Mhm.
So, initially in 2004, when there were students who used to come with their parents, and they used to look at you saying, okay, you tell us what language, and which is the language which has the maximum scope kind of a thing. From there on to today's generation, who mostly walks in alone without parents, because they already know, they are more focused, they are
Right.
career oriented, they know why they want to learn a language, and they also know which language they wish to learn. So there are very few walk-ins who come with a clean slate. You suggest which language. The generation right now is so focused, and they know they want to make themselves employable. They are not learning the language just for a hobby. They either have a plan that I want to travel. That's the reason why I'm going to France. I need to learn French, or I need to go
Right.
in XYZ university, which is situated at the border of Switzerland and Germany. So I need to do German. They are very focused. Secondly, with more students wanting to travel to Europe for their higher education, as we are all aware, if they want to get into the best of the universities, there is at least a B2 that one requires to do in any language. So just doing a level one is not going to be sufficient anymore, because it's almost like an uneducated thing. Okay, I did level one and did what? Nothing. So if you really want to achieve any of your goals as compared to employability or higher education, if you want to land up in a university which is ranked, then you need to complete your language education. And that's what the generation today is already aware of. I mean, there are very few now who usually, I think at least 8, 9 years back, there used to be students coming down to me around May, June saying, I want to do A1 to B1 in 3 months. And I used to be like, oh, okay, that usually takes like a year.
Okay.
So there is no instant cake that I have to serve. But nowadays, the students already know. So after 12, they've started learning languages. They're starting doing their courses, and they do a lot of research. So I think that's a very, very big change, a significant change
Right.
that I come across now as a person who
Okay.
counsels them with languages.
Okay. There are AI powered tools now. There are new technologies. So does ELTIS and also SIFIL incorporate this in your teachings?
Yes.
Ah, well,
Yes.
uh, the answer to that would be yes and no.
Okay.
There a lot of things happening, and the landscape is changing faster than you can keep pace with, but one has to. And also, we have help. So our vice chancellor is an expert, so he keeps sending us all these tutorials, and so that helps. So. So there are certain tools that we are using. For example, help with pronunciation, adaptive text. But then there is a slight bit of a problem with the kind of clientele that we have. These are people who come from very, very simple background. So a village school into a college in Pune and into our campus, or a simple school from a small town on a college campus and then into our institute, or technical education job in say manufacturing unit, going up the corporate ladder, now struggling to communicate with clients, or struggling with B2B communication and then coming to us. And the problem with the AI at this moment, and I'm sure maybe in some time will be sorted out, is that it hallucinates. And once it goes off track, then it becomes very difficult for you to struggle with your prompts to get it back to what you wanted. And the problem is that if I give a task and it gives me a response, I am able to figure out which part of it can be used and which part is not true, or is not according to my need, or this is not the tone I wanted, or this is not the maybe I wanted a briefer thing. This is wrong information. This does not exist, or it is possible for me to do that. It may not be possible for my student to do that. So I think use in a guided manner can still happen. But can I leave him with a chatbot to practice? I sincerely doubt at this moment. But then there are things that we are using. A lot of our study material has become very easy to use. There are a lot of tools that can assess speech and text, and that frees up a lot of our time so that we can concentrate on more customized attention on things like critical thinking, problem solving, cultural awareness. So and the world that it promises is absolutely wonderful. So if you look at things like extended reality or virtual reality or all these immersive experiences, I can actually create a field trip to a museum uh, and not go there physically, and which would not have been possible otherwise. And it doesn't cost me a fortune, and we can still weave a lot of learning from that. So there is a lot that we are consuming ourselves, and we are seeing as to what can be shared and what needs to be shared while hand holding the child. So, yes, one can't turn away from this. One can't blindly say, no, whatever is new is not right. No, not at all. There are a lot of advantages, but just we're being a little careful because that hallucination that it gets into can at times be very scary. So
Yes, that is scary, and it can disillusion students, I think.
Yeah, so I agree to completely to what Sir said. So we, like Sir said, we use a lot of interactive tools like Kahoot and Padlet and Bingo, Mural, etc. We've recently tried experimenting, showcasing the students how ChatGPT can be a communication partner for them. Trying to give small dialogues and then ChatGPT connects back. But that we've done with the teacher in the class. But like Sir said, we cannot leave them unattended because ChatGPT will only give
That's
them
true.
what is already fed inside. So,
Right.
but yes, we are using a lot of tools. We use a lot of audio video aids available on the internet. There are a lot of interactive worksheets that are there, which are used during the classes, after classes. So that's what we do.
Wow, this the institution has been evolving with so many changes and keeping pace with everything, I think.
but
Both
there is
the
no option. I don't think we deserve any praise for this. This is required to survive. The world is based on the fact survival of the fittest.
No, and I think nowadays the generation already knows everything that is on the internet. If you really want to be a good teacher and you want them to listen to you, you need to get something more innovative, more focused on the table. If you give
Right.
something that's already there, available outside, I don't think there are going to be many takers for that.
My
Yes.
next question was about the teachers. So,
Mhm.
any teaching institution cannot survive without good teachers. So, please tell us about your team of teachers about for ELTIS and SIFIL both.
Okay, so we both SIFIL and we survive mostly on freelancers. The reason for that being that our course fee are subsidized and they are very affordable. So at ELTIS, the fee for our short-term part-time certificate programs, they start from 3,800 onwards. So very affordable, but that also means that we have to keep the entire budget at what can be called a shoestring, and we have to be very stringent about any expense that goes around. Otherwise, what will happen is any any time that we are say spending on something else, anytime we are not careful about something and that needs to be replaced, anytime we are not able to optimize the utility of a certain thing, and the cost goes up, it will reflect in the course fee. And the higher the course fee, the smaller the clientele. And I've already shared with you not with SIFIL, but at least with ELTIS. Most of our clientele, they come from very, very humble backgrounds. And that's our philosophy. We want to help more and more of these people. And how can we, unless unless the doors are kept wide open? So if the fee is not, then the door would start, closing in on them, and we'll have a smaller group.
Okay.
So freelancing, using freelancers, and as I already said, fortunately, because we have these absolutely fantastic human beings who are with us simply because they enjoy what they do. Then we don't offer them the kind of money for which they need to be here. But the reason why they're here is because it's a very interesting cohort. So even our own interaction among ourselves is very interesting. Everybody is doing something interesting to learn from each other, and the task itself, it's challenging, it's rewarding. So, but yes, most of the teachers have a common background. So most of them would have an MA in English with preferably linguistics as a specialization, and with definitely a paper in ELT. And if they've done a B.Ed, that much the greater. And if they have also done CELTA, then suddenly our eyes just brighten, and we're like, oh, why are you standing? Why aren't you sitting? Would you want some water? So we have this group, and new energy keeps coming in, and the old one, very unfortunately, decide to hang their boots. And we share with them our requirements we start a new program every month, all levels, multiple timings, multiple modes. So we have morning classes, evening classes, weekday, weekend, online, offline, PA 1A, 1A2, B1, B2, B2 plus, and multiple specialized courses. So we send them the requirement, and people opt. They say, yes, I'm available this month. And then they are allotted. If we have more requirement, then we go begging, said, please, Karlo. And if we have lesser opportunities, then we give them alternate days. So, okay, instead of all days a week, would you only do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or would you only do Tuesday, Thursday? So this is how we manage with everyone. Every month, we try to keep a faculty development program so that they are also abreast with new things that we do. Sometimes through the American Center, we'll get a fellow who will come down over here, spend a year, interact with our students, but also interact with our teachers, teach us multiple things. We keep creating new material. We keep sharing it with them, ask them to try it out in the class, and then give us feedback as to what is happening. It's just a great gathering of people.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
to
nice.
add on to everything that Sir said, I think, see, teaching
Um,
cannot become monotonous. And at ELTIS and SIFIL both, we ensure that the teachers continuously have something new to do. For example, at SIFIL alone, we have in-house courses wherein we have students, working professionals, housewives, uh, people who have retired and their son must have married someone from Spain or from Japan. And that's why now the in-laws are about to travel. Now they want to learn the language. So there's a mixed group that comes to our in-house classes. At the same time, our faculty members also go to our sister institutes of Symbiosis, wherein they teach the postgraduate and the undergraduate students, wherein again the experiences are varied. But we've been very glad and fortunate to have a very good team of teachers. Our teachers travel to Bangalore, Noida, Hyderabad, Nagpur, conduct a few sessions for them online and offline. So there's always new experiments happening at the campus. Most of the teachers have done their masters with the language in case of CPIL, or at least a C2 or a N1 in case of Japanese and the European languages. Apart from that, there are, thanks to Max Miller Bhavan or Association of French Teachers, there are continuous trainings happening, so the teachers also get an opportunity to upgrade themselves continuously. And we also keep on conducting trainings at the campus. So it's a very nice situation currently, and we should only be thankful for that, hoping that it continues. So as Sir said, there is always new energy coming in, old energy going out, but the balance has been good so far.
That is amazing. Yes.
I forgot to mention, apart from the
Um,
sister institutes that we
mhm,
cater to, we also have a
mhm.
lot of corporate clients.
Yes.
So that
Oh,
also
okay.
brings in a lot of variety because this is typically where a teacher would travel to, say, Chakan or would travel to maybe a Talegaon to do this and interact with a completely different crowd. And then this person comes back with a bag full of stories to share and and increase and better our worldview as well. Uh, so that is also an interesting variation.
Okay. Yeah, right. Could you share some memorable moments from your journey?
Oh, many, but two that I
I'm
remember
sure.
is
Hmm.
one is moving from a small house when you suddenly get into a big house. So that move from the Ambedkar Museum to this campus was one of the most memorable things I think I feel in the last 20, 21 years, where when the construction was on, we used to all come. And um, so that was the time we all were doing our trainings. And I had done a hospitation course at Maximilla Bhavan, where they had that typical blackboard, the whiteboard, which used to close. And then, the teacher could go to the class and write something and keep it
Right.
as a surprise for the students. And we could inculcate all of that on the campus. So that was very exciting for us. And I think the second one was the COVID time, where overnight we all shifted from our offline platform to the online mode. And thankfully, we had a very good team. We all kept learning together, and we ensured that the students did not suffer even a single day. So in case of ELTIS as well as SIFIL, we didn't miss a single class. The
Wow.
entire change from offline to online was possible because of the excellent administrative staff also that we have, which
Okay.
is our backbone. So when the teachers are teaching, the administrative staff is taking care of, sending out the communications, ensuring that everybody is on board. And it has been a wonderful team. So there are a lot of memories, sir. Over to you.
I'm
So
sure.
I had gone to watch a movie with my daughter, and during the break, we had gone to get ourselves hot beverage. So I think she was having coffee, I was having hot chocolate or something like that. And the person at the reception was obviously smiling. I said, "What would you like to have?" And continued smiling and served us. And then the moment we stepped away from the counter, that person also stepped away from behind the counter. And as we stepped out, the person also followed us. And I wasn't sure what was happening. So he said, "Sir, did you recognize me? I was in, the B2 batch of Marsh or something." And I was like, "Oh, oh, yes. Oh, how lovely to see you." And he said that, the moment I completed that course, this job opportunity came up. I applied and I got through. It's
Oh,
all
that's
thanks
good.
to you. And
Okay.
the person was so full of gratitude. He looked so happy and he was also doing well. And though I very strongly believe that a teacher is only a catalyst, the entire effort and the success that all belongs to the student. The teacher talks to 24 students in a classroom. Not all of them succeed at the same rate. So actually what really matters is the student's effort. But the
Right.
way, he shared his gratitude and the
Hmm.
happiness that he had on his face. And then I turned around to see my daughter, and suddenly she had, more profound appreciation for my work. Otherwise, she thinks I'm useless. So, but anyway, so I think that's why definitely. So
That's true. One feels so nice. It's a pleasure to have such comments. Right. If you could deliver one message to all language learners listening to this podcast, what would it be?
don't be afraid.
Yep.
not of anything. Nobody in this world ever learned how to ride a bicycle without falling down and without falling down multiple times. If we get afraid of falling down, we'll never learn how to ride the bicycle. It doesn't matter if you're making mistakes, if you're fumbling, if you're groping for words, if you're constructing sentences incorrectly, if our speed is slow. The only way that we can overcome this is by moving forward, regardless of whatever mistakes we do. So just don't be afraid.
I was going to start with the same thing. So yes, don't be afraid. And secondly, never give up. And
Okay.
continue what you've started, because just doing a level and leaving it half done is not going to help. Language is not about perfection. It is about communication. So, look at it this way, that it's a challenge. Of course, it is a difficult task. Overnight, no magic happens over here. So you need to give yourself the effort. You need to do the vocabulary. But trust me, at the end of the tunnel, you will see that you're in a much, much better position, because when you learn a new language, or any language for that matter, even English, if you own up your skills well, it builds your confidence. It just makes you a different person. And learning a language will open opportunities. It will make you employable, etc., etc. Yes, but it will make you aware of different cultures. It will make you a global citizen, where you will interact with more people. You will be able to, understand things better, understand your own culture and language in a better way. So my message would be, start learning a language if you haven't, and then keep going. And like Sir
Yes.
said, don't be afraid. Make mistakes. That's the
Right.
best way to learn.
Sure. Yes, that's a nice message. So this was a wonderful discussion and interaction. I think I loved everything what you said. And I know you're both busy, but you still took out time and joined me on my show. So thank you very much.
Thank
It
you
was
so much for
lovely
inviting.
reliving a lot of things and interacting with you,
Yeah.
I think. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Lalita, for inviting.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Right. Take care. Good day.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for joining me in conversation with Mr. Anupam and Asavari. See you soon in the next episode with a new language professional with his or her experiences to share. Till then, have a good day. Bye bye.